Welcome to ClickStar, brought to you by Lucky Dice Cafe out of Huntsville, Alabama. Check them out at LuckyDiceCafe.com. And now for your hosts, Daniel Powell, Jason Alvey, and Tylor Speeds.
Hey everybody, welcome to ClickStuff today. This is your host Daniel Powell speaking. ClickStuff is brought to you by TrollandToad.com. Find HeroClix new and old at Troll and Toad, the world's largest HeroClix retailer. Use coupon code ClickStuff for 5% off your HeroClix order. Merchant and pre-order items do not apply. If you like what you're hearing today on ClickStuff, check us out at www.patreon.com/clickstuff. $1 and above gets entered into our monthly giveaways. $5 and above gets entered into our monthly HeroClix, our exclusive HeroClix classes. Haven't been quite monthly at the time, but exclusive HeroClix classes and Discord server. We also have a giveaway up on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/clickstuff. For a brick of JLU from TrollandToad.com. There's a couple of free ways to enter there listed on the page, and then of course being a patron will get you entries as well. And then recently launched is clickstuff.com, our own website with its own URL. Super excited about that. Can't thank Alex enough for getting that going for us. We've got a couple of articles up, and we plan on having a regular cadence of articles posted there. So things like your Patreon support help us be able to accomplish such feats. So we could not do it without the support of our fans and listeners. So thank y'all very much. Joining me tonight is Jason. Finally plays on Roll20 Alvey.
Yeah, what an accomplishment. I actually got on the computer and did something.
That is quite the accomplishment.
Yeah.
And Tylor gainfully employed Spees.
Yeah, that's true. Happy about that.
Yeah.
Cutting into my degenerate time, though, a little sad.
Yeah, keeping you busy. It's a good thing. And last but not least is Alex, the webmaster Coos.
Spinning those webs. That's me. Yep, that's it. That's all I got.
That's all you got.
All
right. So we got a few things to talk about today. We're going to talk a little bit about our latest online tournament experiences, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Fantastic Four and the preview we received and some of the other previews that have been up, and then we got quite a few listener questions. So we got a little packed little show to get in tonight for a weeknight. So let's start with some of our online experiences. So I guess we'll just go worst to best. And so Tylor, I think you were worse because Jason was bragging about doing better than you. So
yeah, outscored him. Woo!
And so I mean, I know that you and Jason played the same team, so you probably want to talk a little bit about the team, and Jason, if you have any comments on the team too, just kind of talk about the team and just talk about your pod play and what happened and would you play the team again and where could you improve?
Yeah. So the team is super fun to play. It's an Alpha Strike Justice League team based around Micron and Atom mainly. So it has Micron, Atom, Martian Manhunter from the starter at 40, Flash from the starter at 60. I know
Wonder Twins at 25.
Wonder Twins at 25.
Power Woman at 20.
Power Woman
Space
and then
Jam.
Reality Gem and Space Jam. Yep. So you get 6 actions, which is very nice. I did enjoy that. So yeah, the idea of the team is to use Martian Manhunter to move up Flash, then carry people or move the Microns up with Power or with the Wonder Twins.
No, twins. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you
Yeah.
do Flash's power action to move basically 14 squares through everybody, hitting everybody one, and then since it is a power action, you still get to carry over the Microns with them and the Atom with them, and then they get to punch everybody, and you have all the actions to do it because you have 6 actions. Yeah, it's a real fun team. My matches. So my first one was against Aaron Morgan. He had a Starro team. We were even in map, and he won map, which ended up being pretty big because he took me outdoors, and he was able to mind control me first. It was before I was able to do my Alpha Strike. It was a pretty close match. I ended up winning by I think like 40 points. He definitely would have won if the game kept going at all. I was down to like I think a Micron and an Atom, and they were low dial, and he had a full his Starro was still up, and he had healed up his Dark Phoenix a while. But if I won the map on that, I'd be able to wipe out both his Dark Phoenixes, just a bunch of stuff. So I think it came down to map roll on that one.
Well,
second,
that was also the game. Is that the game that you hit
Yes.
your own character?
yes.
But
So
that sealed the deal for you, though. That's
it
what kinda put
definitely
over.
did. Yeah, it turns out Flash can hit. It's not a May, so anybody who moves through, he hits. And I moved through some of my own guys and crit hit, so I couldn't roll super senses. So I ended up in my own guys. But yeah, it ended up saving me because it was a crit hit. I did 2 damage to his whole team and knocked him back. So it was nice, but I wish I wouldn't hit my own guy. Then I went against DJ.
Because that power says then make a close attack targeting all characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, they move through. Yeah, so watch out for that. Then I played DJ, who was playing. Oh my god, I'm gonna blank what he was playing. Dang it! Give me a second here.
Didn't he also have like a team that had Flash on it? And
Oh yeah, it was Flash and Batman. That was a cool
Yeah.
team. It was Justice League
Yeah.
team. It was a Flash team. It was a Batman team, but it also used the Flash, which was pretty cool. So he could TK the Flash out and do the same thing I could do. He didn't have Microns of carry, but his thought was Batman gets blocked by Colossals with one click, so you could just send the Flash out to clear the space and knock people around, and then follow up with a Batman for 6 damage or 4 damage because of the enhancements from the Dr. Fates. That was a cool team. I ended up losing that one because it was a rough matchup for my team, honestly. He won map because he was a +5 on me, I think. And then he just was able to reach me before I could reach him. He knocked my Martian Manhunter off of his special click, so I couldn't do my Alpha Strike. I ended up even getting pretty lucky on the first rollouts, but it wasn't enough. And then the last team was sort of a mismatch. It had Jason Weingard, Ace, Magneto at 25, Isaac. It was just sort of a bunch of good pieces. That one was better for me. I ended up winning map and did the Alpha Strike. I was like, okay, I got this lined up on his Jason, 13 for 5 with Micron. That's fine. If you roll shape changes, it's whatever. I'll just hit Ace and kill her either way. They both hit shape changes on the first attack, so that was bad. My follow-up attack with the Flash on both of them, they both hit their shape changes. And then my next attack with Micron on the following turn, he also hit his shape change. So that is how that match went. But it is a super fun team. I would play it again. I'm probably gonna play it again. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I like the team a lot. I'd play it again. I just didn't play as good as I could have played. That's why I didn't win games.
Well, it's your first major tournament, Jason, that you've actually played online. So, and you'd played maybe 5 matches online prior to this too. So
I don't think I even played 5. I think maybe like 3.
Yeah. So you just went straight feet in all the way up to your neck there.
Yeah, I just jumped right in. I played Josafa for my first game, and he was playing another Micron and Adam team. He had Micron and Adam, Jason Weingard, Duke Thomas, Dark Phoenix, Gorilla Grodd at 10, and a Tri-Sentinel and a Wendigo. And I won map every game. I played one theme team, 2 non-theme teams. I won the map every time. So I went to WWE Arena every time. Josafa moved his Tri-Sentinel Wendigo to one end of the map and Dark Phoenix in the other corner, and then proceeded to bury her in with like a Lord Gaia, I think it was. And I wasn't experienced enough to realize I could still have killed her anyway, but I went down with Flash and killed Wendigo and Tri-Sentinel, and then stopped and killed his Micron and Atom that turn. And I could have killed Dark Phoenix, but I didn't realize it at the time. But anyway, I scored like 135 points on turn 2, and then proceeded to lose the game. Dark Phoenix came down the next turn and pretty much wrecked my team after that. That and the cat pog that he had from Jason Weingard reffed me up pretty good. And then the dice pretty much hated me after that. I pretty much missed, I think, almost every attack, not everything. I mind controlled his Dark Phoenix to triple target 3 of his characters, and wound up they rolled 2 6s on precision strike and a shape change.
Mm-hmm.
And I missed Duke Thomas like 4 straight times because he rolled out. Or I missed once, and I think he rolled out 3 times. Obviously, it was on shape change in the middle of his dial. And yeah, he beat me. He played better than I did. So
Rollouts do rollout things.
Yeah, rollouts, and yeah, the dice kind of turned in his favor, and I didn't make all the good plays. So there you go. And then I played Caleb Reddick, and he had double chase Black Widow and shifting focus Black Widow. And I came down on the Alpha Strike, and I crit missed with Micron to kill the shifting focus Black Widow. And then I missed like every other attack, and he poisoned me to death. Yeah, and then
because he could create 2 recruits, so it's double poison every turn. Yeah.
Yeah, the dice. I tried to kill that shifting focus Widow about 4 more times, and wound up she either rolled out once, I think, and then I missed all the other ones. Like I rolled a 4, so I couldn't re-roll it because of Widow's trait. He took away Micron's special damage power with Widow. It was just it was a bloodbath. I think I killed his call-in Black Vulcan with my call-in Firestorm. I think that was like only the other. I think I only had 2 attacks that game. That was it. And then I played Aaron Young in the 3rd game. He had Starro, Mr. Sinister, Magneto, Danger Room, and 2 Dark Phoenixes. And I did kill both Dark Phoenixes that time. And then I proceeded to kill Starro. He crit hit me on a mind control with Starro, so I called out. Power Woman got to come out on her last click, and she punched him, and everybody else laid into him. Brainiacs came out and taken the team down, so it all worked pretty well in that game. I won pretty easily, I think. But yeah, it was a super fun team. I don't think the team was a problem. I think my play was the problem. So.
Yeah, it happens. It's part of it. It's all part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I learned a bunch every game, I think. So.
I did too. I like. I mean, you have 5 perplexes and 2 outwits on alpha. That feels good. And then obviously theme probs. Another really nice thing is that like they all have 18s and 19 defense, and they all have super senses. So even if you whiff your first attack, you're not out of luck. They have to hit pretty high, and you have theme props against them.
Yeah.
So that felt good.
But they don't have willpower on the majority of the team, which is sort of a problem. Flash is fairly pushable. I mean, even when he does push, he pushes into good stuff. He winds up pushing into prob.
Right.
And he pushes into 3 damage from 2 damage. And the Atoms get a little. I mean, they're not nearly as good on their last clicks when they lose the perplex outwit, but They're still
Yeah, but
decent.
you can push them to your second. On their second click, they're not that bad.
No, they're not. They lose like one defense, I think, and one attack. But there's plenty of little things. I mean, I think I've only played 3, 5, 6 games with it now. I mean, so I just need more practice, but I think it's pretty solid.
I agree.
So I was next. I played 3 Billies, Martian Manhunter, 6 Dr. Fates, Batman, Influence Ring, Exospecs, the Wonder Twins. I was at 297. Yeah. So it was a plus 12 Justice League theme team, the All-In Batman. And my first thought was, I've got to stop playing Widow right out of the gate when I'm playing a new team. Because ultimately that was my downfall. I went 2-1, and one of the major problems with pod play was I didn't quite have enough points. 9 points exactly.
Really?
Yeah, 9 points to be exact to get out of my pod. So I honestly made a mistake. I played against Brandon Collette to start out with. He was playing Micron, Steve, Chase Widow, Captain Marvel with a Venom symbiote. So I ran out, blew up the Venom symbiote with a Fate. Worked really well. Reset Steve turn 1. Micron rolled out, knocked Captain Marvel to her last click, or her first stop click, which is all really annoying, because you can't make Batman Colossal now. And what I've come to find out is we're really lacking a good outdoor map for Batman. Excuse me. So it's like WWE Arena is really good, but it's also indoor, so barrier is effective. So that was a bit annoying overall. So I think if there's a way to make Batman Colossal again and we get a good outdoor map, then it's probably 100% game on for Batman. So I ended up scoring Steve in that matchup. Micron finally fell, and then the Venom symbiote. So I got 104 points in that game, which I think was pretty good for my first game playing it. Then the second 2 games I did wipe. The second game I played against Vulture, and so he was playing Vulture, and I forget the gentleman's name. He's newer to online play from Florida. So apologies for forgetting your name, sir. But he's playing Vulture, 25-point mags, the Ock arms. And I'm going to have to look up his team now. I just had it pulled up.
Was he Jared?
Yes, it was Jared.
Okay. Jared was running Vulture, Doc Ock Arms, Oz, Phil Coulson, Everett Ross, Wesley Crusher,
Yes.
Cadmus, Lab Scientist, 2x2 Magneto, Wendigo, Tri-Sentinel, Brainiac, Zero Ring, and then the Iron Avengers map location.
Right. So, yes, he had a little bit of everything on that team. So he was able to use the TK from Oz to get the Ock Arms on the Vulture, but then he was using Phil Coulson to drop the drop effect to equip the Spin Ring turn 1. I'm sorry, the Zero Ring. So he was able to barrier. So I was able to kill his Phil Coulson, Tri-Sentinel, Wendigo. And this will also be a good plug. I did stream all these games on our YouTube channel. And I killed his Brainiac as well, I think, that turn. But he was able to get his Vulture out there. Cadmus Lab Scientist giving out Battle Fury was cool. And fortunately, he finally rolled a 4.
That's what you needed.
Yeah. Well, so he was a 14. He went down to a 13. on click number 2, and then he finally missed Batman. So I was in bad shape, right? If he hadn't rolled a 4, I was just going to be dead. Like, he killed Batman, he killed most of the Fates. I think he killed all of the Fates, actually. Oh, no, he missed a couple of the Fates, specifically 2 of them. 2 Fates. So he took 4 Mystics damage and a pushing damage. He was on, like, last click, or next to last click, whatever. So Martian Manhunter killed him. Then he brought over Magneto to retail and ended up missing. And that's where the next turn is where the magic happened. The magic happened, boys. I was very excited about this turn. I'm very excited to share this with our listeners. So there's a reason Brainiac and Grodd are super expensive. And it's one of those things, again, you see it on their traits, but it's when you experience it in person, you're like, OMG. So the Wonder Twins, close combat expert, killed retail mags. Crack. Cacao. First hit. I'm like, all right, well, there's not much I can do this turn. This Dr. Fate had better try and just kill Bolt. And then I was 1 square out of Oz's 12 range prob. Bolt crit hits. Killing Bolt. Dr. Fate crit hits, killing Bolt. And I'm like, all right, well, let's make a Brainiac. Brainiac goes out, double target end caps, hits. I create Grodd, because it's the 3rd hit of the turn, still have leadership. Grodd goes out, leap climb quakes. The game turns in my favor at that point. I was able to wipe up the rest of his team at that point. There's definitely a reason Grodd and Brainiac are the top 2 must include troublemakers on your team. Then the last game I played Matty G, he was playing the Brotherhood team. I pretty much wiped all of his team but Danger Room Mags. Unfortunately, he had Danger Room Mags and a ring and then the map bonus left, so about 60 points. There was no extra points to really have on his team. So I needed like 2 more turns to kill DR Mags. And I would have been able to have enough points to get out of pod play. But I mean, that's the failure of pod play and the best we got during COVID. So I definitely had better records than other 2-1s in pods that are in the single limb. So I think a little more practice with the team, and 7 actions are phenomenal.
Yeah, that's 6 actions were good enough for me.
Yeah, 7. So was just for a little bit of a breakdown. I'll end with this because I was super excited about it once I finally got a little more comfortable with it. You can double TK, double equip, right? Typically on a team, that's all you can do turn 1, right? You get the objects, you equip the objects. That's all you got. Well, I still have the ability to TK a Fate, Martian Manhunter move on a Fate, attack with a Fate, like go kill an Exospecs. And oh my gosh! Or more realistically, I was using the 6th action, the action to just move up the Fate, so I could shoot a barrier turn 2. So just phase him into range, especially because a lot of those teams were all squishy to Mystics damage. So if they were to kill a Fate, that's fine, but then they're out of position most likely, because a Fate does have a 19, 20, I perplex it up, so a 20 from range. And they have a 9 movement when they phase. It's all just insane. It's all insanity with those 10-point Fates.
Yeah. Yeah, those extra actions are just fun to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess I could have got 8 actions if I'd have fit a Power Woman on the team, like dropped a Billy or something, or dropped a Fate or whatever. My gosh, 8 actions. That's insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So Alex, you are still in.
Well, maybe not at this when people are actually listening to this. But as of this recording, yes, I am technically still in. So I am one of those 2-1s that Dan probably would have beaten because I had very low points. But I'm playing Esteban's team, the Immortal Hulk, Danger Room Magneto, Danger Room Sinister, Ace, 2x2 Magneto, and then Doc Arms, Liar Ring, Influence Ring, the Iron Avengers, map location, and I think that's everything. So I was playing that team. I hadn't really had much practice. I think practicing with Jason was probably my only practice.
Yeah.
But I am very, very familiar with Magneto and Sinister. So that's why I ultimately went with the team, because I had practiced with them a ton, because I was going robots way back in the day. So I went into the pod. I came out of it, spoiler, 2-1. My first matchup was against Clinton, who I think is an Earthbound and Down. He was playing a very unique team. It was a Red Skull team, the Chase Red Skull. And it was him, the Cube, of course, Mr. Oz, Ensign Crusher, 2x2 Magneto, Zero Ring, and then he was playing the Reign of Terror location bonus, which gives you, if you consolation, you get 1 free leadership, and then if you win map, then if you go to that map, you get to re-roll leadership. So it was definitely kind of like what Dan was talking about, the pod idea. I don't know how I feel about knowing my team before going into a match. How do you guys feel about that in general?
I was able to practice against it, right? I mean, I don't get to do that, right? I mean, you would have not even really, if we had done our normal like tournament prep.
Yeah.
We would have probably just said, "Oh, Red Skull, yeah, only Tyler's going to play that."
Yeah, probably.
But in this case, you saw the team, and then you were like, "All right, okay, here's what's up. Here's what's going on. All right, let's go. Let's think about this. Let's map it out. What if I win map? What if I lose map? What's my plan of attack? Who do I take down?"
So go ahead.
It's definitely a different experience. I don't know if it's better or worse. Because in most other things, you will get to prep any sort of sport. They prep for weeks for the games, or if you're playing somebody in like a chess tournament or an online game, there is scouting that goes into it. So I don't know if it's better or worse. It is definitely different though, and it's something you have to prepare for.
It definitely favors those who practice more and are used to practicing and utilize practice more. Whereas it doesn't work as well for those who are quick thinkers, because quick thinkers are able to sit down at the table and already start calculating in their head everything they're going to do because they're used to working on the fly. So either way, I had a day or two, I think, to know about his team. I was familiar with Red Skull. I didn't really have a huge game plan except to keep Hulk away from everybody else. Like, I just basically spread out my team. Clinton won map, but for some reason, and I think it's because he really liked the map, he took me to Hedge Maze, so he didn't get to use his location bonus at all, that is what I was fearful of more than anything, was that he was going to automatically get his leadership and then go to town with either my Hulk or Magneto or whoever. So
he doesn't auto get it if he wins map. It's just a +1, right?
Right. No, I think you get the reroll. And so he would have 2 rerolls. I think it's the reroll. Right. But the map wasn't a bad map. The Doom map, or whichever one it is, the Doom Castle, it wasn't that bad of a map compared to Hedge Maze. Either way, though, he really liked Hedge Maze because he could block himself in with the Zero Ring and make it hard for me to get in there. So that game went pretty well. I ended up winning 90-0. I came down to Red Skull to his last click. I was able to get in there, and basically Sinister equipped the Influence Ring, and he just went to town on everybody. He went in there, pushed Ensign Crusher into a wall. He did the same to Oz at one point to just kill him. He was just a big old bully because he kept poisoning and then knocking him back into different walls. Hulk didn't really do a ton at the beginning. He basically based my people with one of the people that Skull pops out. And so so I couldn't really get a... Yeah, and I couldn't kill him because if I killed him, he had moved Red Skull over to my 2x2 Magneto, Ace, and Bolt that I had over there. So if I had killed that Pog, he would have then created another one over there and probably would have killed my Ace and everything.
Right.
So he started attacking Ace, got her down to Pulse Wave. She Pulse Waved him, dealt him damage, which got him off of some of his good click. He lost the leadership and all of that stuff. So I ended up wiping all of his team except for Red Skull, and then time ran out. Couldn't do much of it. So like most of the Don't Die teams that I play, I just don't score a lot of points. My second match was against Brian Estes, who's a fellow Tennessean. He was playing a Widow team, which will probably be a theme you hear through all of my matches going forward. He was playing Chase Widow, Shifty Focus Widow, Captain Marvel, and Hogan. And that was a really, really close game. I think it was 140 to 125, and I ended up winning. It went back and forth. I believe he took out Ace. He took out, I think, Sinister, and then Magneto. So I was left with Danger Room Magneto, Bolt, and Hulk. And last turn, I was down. I think I was down. And I ultimately had Bolt haphazardly at the very end just be like, just go call Happy Hogan. He's on click 2. And I think that ultimately, it made it from not a tie to, I think it was 145 to 125. So if I hadn't killed Happy Hogan, it would have been a roll-off. But I didn't even think about it. Like I was focused on, okay, I could kill his Widow. Like I could do it with Vengeance tokens. I could do it. But I was like, before I do that, let's just have Bolt kill Happy Hogan. It'll be easy. And I hadn't counted up points at that point because it's just so hard with all the recruits. And, you don't have time in a faster match when you don't want to slow play, which I already was a little bit. He was a little bit. We weren't playing up to our speed in our online tournament. So it was very close. And ended up taking that one. The third match in that pot was against Josh Essex, who was playing double Captain Marvel, Chase Black Widow. I ended up losing that one. I don't remember the score.
50 to 25.
50 to 25. I had killed one of his recruits. He had killed, I think, Magneto. No, he had killed 2x2 Magneto, and then he got Hulk off a token.
Yes.
That one I probably could have won if I hit one of my last 3 or 4 attacks with Hulk, but I missed quite a few times. It was a good match, though. I mean, I felt pretty good afterwards, and I felt there were a couple things I could have done better, which is what I've been learning as I play this team more and more. I should do this, I should do that. But I didn't get Influence Ring either games. So that was a huge downfall to this team, is if you don't get Influence Ring, the team gets significantly slower. And you have to really work on your Hulk positioning to make sure that you get those Vengeance tokens, that they don't body block you. Like, I learned so much from Brian's game to Josh's game. Like, Brian boxed me out on a lot of Vengeance tokens, and so I switched that up with Josh to make sure Hulk was at least trying to get more. Either way, though, I made it into top 30. Was it 32?
Yeah,
top 32.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a revenge match against Brandon for Dan, because I think
you did. You did.
Which he already talked about that team. That game, I won going over 300 points. We didn't realize it until the end, so we kind of backtracked a little bit. Like, he took Influence Ring. So every single game of mine so far, they've taken the Influence Ring. But he went to town on my Magneto, the Danger Room one, and he got Magneto to his last click, which has Pulse Wave, which was, I think, his mistake, because Magneto was sitting in the starting zone. All my people were there. All his people were there. So I just Pulse Waved my own Hulk to click 2. and I missed everyone but Hulk. Like, I rolled a 15. Like, Hulk has a 15 defense. I missed every single person but Hulk, and I was like, that is the one person I needed. And so Hulk got damaged, and he was on click 2. And then he kept hitting Magneto, so Hulk had 3 Vengeance tokens, turn 2. So I was able to just go to town. I killed Micron. I got Chase Widow down a significant amount. And then it started going back and forth. He was definitely dealing me a decent amount of damage. I took out 2 Widow's recruits, which is something to keep in mind if you're playing Chase Widow. Those Widow recruits add up quickly if you're just popping them out. And they're not easy to kill, but they can be killed. So it ultimately, he had some bad luck because he took Magneto down to Pulse Wave, which that's not necessarily bad luck. I think it's just he should have saved a few attacks, but he had really bad
decision making, right?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I don't want to say bad decision, but maybe some of the attacks on somebody else. I don't know. I don't like saying people make bad decisions, but ultimately though, he had terrible luck because it was down to my Hulk, Sinister, and his Captain Marvel and Steve Rogers. And I had based his Captain Marvel with Hulk, and he hypersonic to go kill Sinister, and he rolled a 1. Like, for the initial hypersonic. So that meant that's done. Yeah, that's done. And so your chance of rolling that 1 is low. But I felt bad, because that's one of those, you probably should have had it. He didn't have prob at that point. So I ended up winning that one, and so my next match is against, hey, what do you know, another Widow team. I'll play Patrick Frazier tomorrow, actually. So by the time you're hearing this, I might be out of it. I might still be in it to go face Lucas, which that'll be rough too. So overall, I'm doing better than I thought I would be doing. So I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Yeah.
So yay or nay on Red Skull?
Man. So Red Skull, when he came out, was bad. Like,
I don't want this cop-out answer.
I mean, if he had the Christmas present, then maybe.
Was it? So you didn't clarify earlier. Was it the blue or was it the orange? I assume
he only did blue because orange. Remember, he doesn't have the cosmic team ability, so he was wise.
I'm just clarifying.
Yeah. So, and that's why he chose Hedge Maze, so that way he can do the little Bamf thing with the blue cube to go around all the blocking terrain to just attack you. So it was a cool concept, and him with Ensign Crusher, which allows you to reroll your leadership rolls, great in concept. Like, great in concept. It's just, I don't like temp poles. Temp poles I don't think are good in this meta, unless they have some sort of crazy trick to make them where they just won't ever die. Because if you don't have a secondary attacker to, like, for those, when you get barriered in or whatever, you're just not going to be able to do enough damage. So if you somehow could fit a 50-point, 40-point figure that can do some good, Batman or something, I don't know.
Red Skull with Batman, let's go.
Then maybe, because his whole mind control thing, where if he hits that leadership and can mind control, I mean, that gets through Black Widow and Shifting Focus Black Widow. That gets through a ton, because you just mind control from anywhere. So,
I mean, there's the theme. I mean, it's Red Skull, 200 points, Ensign Crusher, 215, map bonus, 2, or is it 225? It's that one, right? It's the bigger Crusher. 225. Just a 225, 230 map bonus, 270 Batman. Let's go.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I don't know how viable it is down the road. Like, I honestly just don't know. I mean, maybe we get something Fantastic Four that's low point, like maybe some of the chases or something that just add a little extra something. But other than that, it's very interesting, and it just needs it just needs a little more. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's finish out with a couple of our questions then on the meta meta competitive side of things before we go into previews. So let's talk about it. So Alex, you have some experience. Do you think Immortal Hulk will continue his dominance once we are back to playing IRL?
Yeah, totally. Because he's just incredibly good. I mean, there's a lot of different variants on the team. There's a lot of teams that can take away the influence ring, but there's ways to get around that. I think there's just, I mean, shoot, we were talking earlier, I could play Flash if I really wanted to, because I'm playing non-theme. So I could play Flash, and he could just run up and hit Hulk turn 1 and just be like, okay, there we go. Or I could play Johnny from the starter set, because he deals 1 too. So there are other options. Now, they're maybe not as hardy as Danger Room Magneto, Danger Room Sinister, and Ace, but he's definitely going to be around for a while. He's not just an ID battery. Just the fact that he could just keep running around punching for 4 is great. Yeah. And I think a big piece that was talked about, but is now seeing a lot more play and seeing how dangerous she is. Ace is very, very good. Like, she's very killable, but you can probably on most teams handle losing 60 points because of how she dies. Unless she just dies from a close attack. If you protect her well enough, they wonon't have a choice. People will go in just to get their prob again. So
there's a couple of things, like, and this is one that I kind of discovered accidentally in the Heroes Throwdown, was knockback means she doesn't die at all. Like, her thing doesn't pop off at all.
Right.
So, like, 4 damage knockback is a good way to deal with her. Like, I'm still on the fence. Like, if everything's a theme team, does Ace really control the tempo that much? I think she does at the lower levels of a tournament, but not towards the end game.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just still torn about her, right? Because I think it's good, but not good enough, and I think there's just going to be a way to deal with her better coming up at some point.
She just brings a lot of the whole prob thing is, I almost don't know if that's the best thing about her. Like, it probably is, but the fact that she has Barrier, TK, and Perplex, and her own prob. Yeah. Like, I know she's 60 points, and she has that whole, I mean, dealing 4 and knocking her back is possible, sure, but it's not as probable as it used to be with IDs. So I think she's going to be around for a while. And I agree, though, every team that I've fought, except for my first match, has been Avengers theme teams. So
it feels like she compares very favorably to Dr. Fate, or Sheriff Strange in his prime. Like, she seems better than that. And he was really good, just to me. Like, she has more support powers. She sort of has the prob to his ID shutdown thing. It just seems very similar right there.
I mean, yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, I don't know. I know there's a lot of folks that disagree with me on that one, but I would just consider me not completely sold yet.
Well, you also have to keep in mind she's only going to ever be played on non-theme teams because she has bad keywords. So
for now, yeah.
For now, wait till next year we get another DC set.
You get
she
more
still has
Cadmus
bad
pieces.
Well, yeah, I guess Cadmus is the exception because Amazo isn't bad. So, but yeah, she's good on non-theme teams, which doesn't work for everybody.
Right. So it was a 2-part. That was from Stephen Boombera. So just a quick note from me and you, Tyler, from Luis Reyes. How much does Tylor miss his Wales?
So it's weird. I miss playing Wales because it was my favorite team to play. But Wales, I don't think could hold up right now. I think they would get steamrolled by so many things. Mainly Batman. I don't see how they deal with Batman. And they had a tough time against... Vulture hasn't been playing as much, but he's definitely better against Wales, at least on the theme team. Or
Right.
can be on the team.
Can be,
So,
yeah.
I,
And the double TK options now.
yeah, it's easier to get to your back line. True. That flash would decimate the Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think the meta's gotten too, I don't know, maybe aggressive isn't the right word. Maybe it is. It's just I can't see myself playing Whales.
Well, there's aggression to equal your aggression.
Yeah, and it's like I think I would do okay against Black Widow teams because I think I could do okay in trying to overwhelm them, but everything else in the meta right now would just run me over.
Right. Like if you were to just say your team without IDs,
Right. Then
like
it's just
like
vanilla.
Groot Pogs, Surtur, Carnages, right? There's all kinds of, beast mode stuff there on that team that is going away.
Well,
Right.
the Whales too.
Yeah.
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 The whole
But I do
team's
miss
going
playing
away.
that team. That team was fun to play.
Yeah. So how much does Dan miss uni? You know what? I'm actually, this is one of the things that I'm probably glad that he had a graceful exit as is. Maybe this is kind of following Tyler's sentiment. I would not be happy for Black Widow to run up, delete all my shit, and blast me.
Yeah. Oh my
Um,
God.
That sounds super satisfying.
He shuts off everything he can do.
Right, yeah. She shuts off the perplex, the shape change, the super senses. She
The
runs
stop
up.
click.
Well, no, the stop click still stops. It just doesn't have impervious.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so then you pop out the recruit. Like I get punch to stop click because she outwits the invincible through stealth. Punch to stop click, then penetrating poison, and then Uni gets popped. So it kind of sucks. Yeah, so it's one of those things. I don't miss playing him now because Black Widow ruins pretty much anything, which is a good note. So John Morley asked Black Widow, people are crying nerf ban, etc. What are your thoughts based on tournament experiences with her? And I would even add in that John, there's even what's his name, Joe Pangrazio made a little smack talk post there about figures that won't win tournaments, blah blah blah, and it's like, so Black Widow maybe hasn't won anything big yet, but she got second in one, and she was all over the top list of all of them.
There hasn't been much to win, so.
Yeah, so I mean, the Heroes Throwdown, she was in top 4. There's how many Widow teams in the top 32 of the Clicks Mafia one?
At least 2.
At least 2.
At least 2. I think I know of at least 3 more.
Because Caleb is playing the double chase.
Yeah. So
is Nate still in? Because he was playing.
No, he's out.
No, Nate got knocked out. Yeah.
He made 30.
He made 32. So that's at least 4 probably.
Yeah. So if it's a team that's good enough to consistently get players with its low barrier of entry out of pod play, then it's a team to be worried about. So I don't know. I'm definitely know there's no ban, right? There is ways that they can fix her with an errata. And she probably needs an errata.
So you could go ahead, Tyler.
I'm not 100% yet, mainly just because I haven't played her. But I've seen enough good players say that I'm at least, they should at least look at her.
Right. Well, I mean, like, it deletes all special powers off of a power cosmic piece.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all standard powers in a special power.
Yeah, all standard powers in a special power, right? So, so on the high end, it's that, right? And then on the low end, right, you've got a guy coming in that has charge and flurry on his favorite Black Panther that's in a special power. Like, I don't know, I'm being making this up a little bit, but like she knocks that guy out too. You know, the fact that there's just absolutely no protection against that, and then the recruit with penetrating poison, and it can act, right? It's this whole like.
I don't think it's any one thing about her that's like inherently broken, but she does so much that probably puts her over the top.
The whole reroll thing is awful too.
Right. There's that.
Yeah. So
I mean, she basically has 15 clicks of life with 2 stop clicks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would break it down into this, right? The trait, the get rid of your powers tradecraft is just too wide sweeping. The recruit being able to be done after a carry is a problem, right? Because, you know, no actions after carry or no actions after whatever it is. They keep making figures that get around that for 18 years. They keep making things that can get around that, right? Sam Cap just retired last year. So Medusa, right? Medusa dominated Popper until they had to change the entire format of Popper because of Medusa.
Yeah, the Atom and Micron basically do that. I mean, they're not carried, but they basically simulate that.
Right. I mean, and that's you know, but Atom and Micron don't have 15 clicks of life and outwit leadership and 12 attack and penetrating damage and.
So can I counterpoint that when you get a second?
Yeah, and then so I think the last one, so what was the last one? There's 3 things: the recruits, the get rid of your, the get rid of and the reroll.
Reroll.
Map wide traits that negatively affect your opponent are inherently too powerful. Nighthawk Prime is a prime example. He won 2 world. He won 2 world championships. He got second in another. He was too much. I mean, I won with him. I mean, I guess at this point, I'm just going to start playing Widow.
I wonder if you just take like just that trait, and so like you play a game with it applied and without it applied, just across the board. I wonder how much that increases your odds of winning. Like I would bet it's like 15%. Like you increase your odds of winning by 15% just by adding that stipulation to the game. Like that's, I think, the craziest thing. That goes unnoticed, kind of, because it's in the background. Well, it goes unnoticed until you crit miss.
Right, or you roll a 3, you know, a 3 or 4 too.
Right.
Yeah, it was like that game that I played against her. Like I crit missed that kill shot on that Widow, and I couldn't re-roll it. I had probs, but I couldn't re-roll it because of that trait, and that just did me in. Like, it came up more than once in that game. Like, not in my favor either time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, a crit miss is not a crit miss, unless you're playing against Widow, or you don't have dice manipulation. But Alex did have a counterpoint there. I don't want to get too far along without him being able to chime in.
So before the counterpoint, if you're playing against Black Widow, make sure you don't forget that Chewie doesn't get that whole reroll thing. People forget about that. They just assume it's everybody. Yeah, it's standard, and Chewie's not standard. People just forget. They don't even know the power half of the time. So as someone who's been intimate with Black Widow in more ways than one.
What?
I had to say it that way. I think she probably does need an errata to either. I don't know how you do it though. Either you just make the tradecraft token only once per turn, like you can only do one or the other. But I don't know how you quote unquote errata that. Like there's not a way to errata it. You'd have to change powers and change how tradecraft works. But a lot of people just forget that you need to just hit Black Widow for 2. Like, people just think, oh, she's got a really long dial. I'm not going to hit her for 2 for some reason. I'm just going to go and kill her 100%.
Okay, so, into her stealth or her 18 combat reflexes where you can't reroll.
Right, yeah, but you can still go through that. I mean, if you ignore, because let's be fair,
that's super easy to kill.
But Shifting Focus Widow isn't being played, and it's not a good play. at times. It's cool, like it gets around Batman, but Shifting Focus Widow I don't think does enough to add to the team like 2 Marvels does. But she protects Chase Widow. But Chase Widow doesn't ever really attack. Chase Widow, all she does is theme team prob and pop out Widow's recruits. Like, she rarely ever does any attacking. She can, but usually all your actions are for Widow's recruits and whatnot. So in my experience, you pop her for 2. That's the key thing. So that way she doesn't have the leadership, she doesn't have the outwit, she still has the crazy other 2 powers, but she loses the Widow's recruit power, which is huge. At that point, she's just charging for 3 exploit, which I get is still big, but they're probably not willing to risk that for her. Also keep in mind she only has 5 tradecraft tokens, and she's burning 1 immediately. And then probably burning another 1, or even 2 the next turn. I have not seen a Widow come turn 2 or 3 that had probably more than 3 tradecraft tokens, which is relevant, because that means each token they use, the less life she's going to have after you get to her stop click. So I've killed Widow once, almost killed her a second time, and then the first time I just went for Marvels, and it didn't ultimately matter. I think the issue is that it's with her and Marvel is the issue. Like, just the fact that Marvel can go over there, pop out a Chewie, do the 1 ping damage, and add in the recruit. Like, I think that combo is scarier than just Chase Widow. Sure, Chase Widow does a lot. Her recruits are a pain to kill, but they still give up 25 points, which is a lot in this type of game. So she needs some sort of errata, I guess. Like, I don't know how they would do it. I think the bigger issue is that her and Marvel create a pair that is easy to play, very forgiving on positioning, and just does a ton of damage. Like, if you played Widow with another Avengers team, it won't do nearly as well with her and Marvels. So I think it's the pair that's the issue, not just the chase. Because you got to keep in mind that the Marvels have 2 stop clicks. So it's either, do I try to go through Widow, or do I try to eat down a Captain Marvel team? And so, or a Captain Marvel figure. And so that's where the issue comes up. Whereas if it's just Black Widow, you can just deal her 2, and then, okay, so here's where the devil's advocate part comes in. Is this like a Batman scenario where she's like not the hero we deserve, but wait, she's the one we deserve, but we don't need right now? Because we're about to get a bunch of crazy figures in Fantastic Four, and the fact that they're bringing this whole Galactus thing in means that they're introducing the idea of this type of mechanic. So maybe she's just too powerful right now, but we need her down the road for when we get some crazy, crazy figures that have all these traits, all these special powers. Like, that's what I'm worried about, is we just nerf her to the ground and be like, well, she was kind of the linchpin to hold the meta together before we go crazy.
No, I mean, but we're needing things to go beat her now.
Right.
I mean, that's not the linchpin to hold together. We special powers. We want this. We need this.
You can't save the meta if you're the reason it's not good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, are we relying too much on special powers and powers off the dial?
Yeah, so what?
Because that's every character.
That's what they do now.
It's not my team. Magneto and Hulk don't care. Hulk has great powers. I mean, he loses his stop click. He loses his stop click.
I mean, he loses charge. Like,
no, he has charge on his dial.
Not every click.
He goes down to flurry, so sure.
Yeah.
Alex, I don't know if you know this or not, but Chase Widow has outwit on her dial, so she can just outwit your charge.
Come turn 3, if I'm on click 3, she can't.
True.
Protected outwit. But no, I mean, he's still killable. I'm just saying, like, looking at her and saying, okay, well, have we come to rely on special powers and traits too much? Because those are obviously the more broken figures, I guess.
Well, then
modern click doesn't exist then, because that's what it is.
So then let's just delete clicks after the Avengers set in 2011 or whatever.
Yeah, we'll just go back to like Supernova, or something. It was all standard powers all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she makes figures unplayable just by existing. Like, so that like Amazo is unplayable because she exists.
I know, but we've said that about
Dark
figures
Side.
through history.
It's never good when something does that.
I mean, we said it about Vulture. We said it about Hawkeye.
Yeah,
We've
and
said it about
Yeah.
everything.
Vulture, we said Vulture was not good for the game. Hawkeye was not good for the game.
But they were fun. I mean, the meta adjusted. That's what I'm trying to say, is that the meta, I mean, hopefully they do errata her and fix her a little bit. They don't
Wait
need to
a
fix her a
minute.
ton. But the meta's
Wait a
just going to
minute.
adjust.
That's right. Black Widow beats Vulture because she just takes away his charge, and then she takes away the running shot from Hawkeye. So we're good. Those guys rely too much on their off-dial powers.
I mean, I'm just saying.
But no, I mean that's the whole thing. Like Amazo completely unplayable. Darkseid,
Yep.
completely unplayable.
Now let's be fair, real quick. Amazo is not unplayable because Easton's playing him and doing very well, even though he's only at 40 points. And then what's his name? I'm blanking. What's his face is playing him at much higher points. I'd have to look it up.
How many Widows did they play?
They did play Widow, but they played against Widow.
So Amazo at 40 as a support piece,
different.
Sure, that's fine, but that's different than him being able to be played at 125 or 100.
Is it Lewis? Is Lewis playing him?
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
I'll look up Lewis's team, but I'm pretty confident he's playing. I mean, I understand Widow takes out Amazo, sure. And I'm not trying to say that Widow doesn't need to be touched. I'm just saying we like to we like to cry on figures when it gets really, really tough on the meta when they feel broken, like we did it with Vulture. And now Vulture's not played very much at all. He was never errated, right? So if anything, he was made better on some of the things. So
Vulture can't chew through 15 clicks of Black Widow, nor Captain Marvel, nor Immortal Hulk right now.
So I see. That's why I'm not really. That's why, but I am kind of hesitant to say it, just because. So for me, for a figure to get errated or not banned, it's not going to happen. But errated it has to do something that is just like broken and inherently bad for the game. I still think that Batman and Vulture fit that category, just because they can. I don't think you should be able to win a game in one turn without any recourse. But so I think that she is definitely overtuned. It's similar to how Balls of Fury or Mini Shredder were. But I don't think that she does anything that's like super inherently broken. But she could be overtuned to the point where she doesn't need an errata. I just don't.
Those two aren't errated either. So
I know. That's why I'm a little, hesitant on it. But I definitely think it should be looked at just because of.
Just keep in mind, 9 times out of 10, she is not going to be 13 clicks deep. She is going to be like 10, if that.
10 with a stop click. That's pretty.
I
good.
mean, two of the stop clicks. When she gets to her stop click, she's just done because it's a 10 defense. You have to crit miss to not hit her on the stop click. So it's really just. But once you hit her
to do something to get the points.
But once you get her, I get that. But once you get her to the stop click, she loses all her trade craft and she's just dumb sitting in the water. She's got close combat or charge, but that's it. She doesn't get any of her special stuff. So she's definitely beatable. It's just there hasn't been enough tournaments, and that's the other issue is that she hasn't won one, which we talked about. So they may not see her as being dominant because we didn't have nationals to show that she just was everywhere. We've had these events, which who knows if WizKids is going to count these events as quote unquote big enough to warrant an errata. So.
Yeah.
She's beatable though. That's the key thing. She is very beatable. Deal her 2 damage.
Piece is beatable.
Deal her 2 damage.
That's not an argument. Every piece is beatable.
2 damage.
Oh my gosh.
No one's dealing her 2 damage. It's just
2 damage does not kill her.
2 damage makes it where she doesn't do the recruits. That's the hard part. Like
that is one of the 3 hard parts that you
she loses leadership, which she is the only leadership on the Marvel team, and they need leadership for the recruits and the Chewies. So
I'm saying that's a good strategy to hit her for 2. It is super, super not easy to do, and she is also a very good character after 2 damage.
You'd be surprised how easy it is because she's in your face every time.
Okay, but if she's
how about
in your
this?
face, she's done 15 damage to you through your special powers.
Not click one.
So how about this in general? I get the devil's advocate part of it, which Alex is playing super hard. And realistically, I guess I am thankful again that there's no real in-person tournaments right now, and maybe some other figure comes out that makes her unplayable. I mean, that's fine. It just is what it is. There's nothing of relevance, super happening, right? So when in-person play starts back up, if it ever does, then maybe they'll errata her. For me, she just makes things. She's the super hard gatekeeper, just by herself. So
she brings. So we just got over Surtur, and Surtur was a hard gate for tent poles. I feel like. Because you could play tent poles and you attack once, and if you don't hit Surtur, he's going to come over and just eat through half of your dial. So we just lost.
Tent poles because Uni was prevalent the entire time he was legal.
Uni still didn't like Surtur and Green Arrow.
He didn't like it. But
we also have to keep in mind Dan's a special case. Like Dan super hard prepares for Surtur. So
Uni was prevalent.
Well, no, I understand that. He was either way. What I'm trying to say is, other tent poles were waiting for their shot, and Black Widow shoots that shot down immediately. Like they're like, it's finally rotation has happened. I can finally play Rare Amazo, or I can play Black Panther. I can do all this stuff. So Black Panther actually wouldn't be bad, but
so I need to put the dog up real quick. So Chris Rizzi asked, what is your opinion on the top 5 one-man armies? And I think you can loop that in with tent poles. So assuming Black Widow doesn't exist, just give your top 5 tent poles, say 200 plus, that you would consider playing short of Black Widow not existing. And I'll be right back.
All right, time to type in greater than 199 on Realm.
Yeah, I don't know if I can think of them off the top of my head.
If you type in greater than 200, it still pulls them up.
It still pulls 200? Okay.
Yeah. Golden Mazo, I guess, would have to be one of them.
Right.
Before all this happened, we were talking about Juggernaut.
We were kind of.
Yeah, Juggernaut. Yeah, we did talk about 300-point Juggernaut. Yeah.
Or even 200-point would be okay. Let's see.
Do we see Black Panther come back?
Oh, no, you can't play Juggernaut because Black Widow is a thing. Oh, yeah, we're ignoring Black Widow.
Oh, yeah. Black Widow doesn't get rid of his Invincible. Yeah.
Yes, it does.
I thought he had printed Invincible.
No,
it's
he has
Invincible power.
Yeah.
But we're ignoring her. So Juggernaut is one of the better ones.
Yeah. I will say definitively Chase Black Panther should see play because he has the twisting dial thing and all those powers are printed. So Black Widow doesn't do much outside of take away his super senses and whatever else you give him.
Yeah, it is a big deal. And normally you give him shape change too, so she would give him both of his rollouts.
But that type of team with Widow does not have any pulse wave unless they do a weird variant. So he is a better play against her, I guess. But
starter Dr. Doom?
Are y'all talking about Black Widow again?
We're trying not to.
No, we were saying Black Panther. Black Panther.
Yeah. Yeah, so Juggernaut's pretty cool. Golden Mazo is cool.
This might make Tyler excited. Do we Darkseid? What about Darkseid?
Yeah.
Sure,
if Black Widow didn't exist.
We're not talking about Black Widow. Darkseid is so close, dude. I just can't. It just doesn't work for me. He might work in a like I'm gonna barrier myself up every turn and then send out my I-beams and hit you eventually way, that might be a thing, but I don't care if that is the only way he's viable, because that just sounds awful to me. So I misread the power when I first read it. I didn't know that. I thought if you could either move and then generate it, or so what are the stipulations? There's 2 stipulations that if one of them was gone.
If no opposing character is adjacent and he hasn't been moved or placed.
Yes. Either one of those things. If either one of those things was removed, he would just be phenomenal. He would be so cool. Move around, shoot people. If you're based, you basically get a free punch. Like, that's awesome. But you can't do either of those things, so it's super limiting. So I cannot endorse Darkseid with those stipulations in place.
Yeah, I mean, I think Darkseid is okay. I just think that in general, like Black Panther, Gold Amazo, 200 jugs with the 2 danger rooms would do just a little bit better overall.
Barbatos.
Yeah, I don't think he stands up anymore.
Poor guy.
I don't know if he ever did, but he definitely doesn't now.
I mean, if only Battle Fury meant that you couldn't draw any lines of fire from range, then maybe. Yeah, it'd be like, haha, you can't draw lines of fire. But no.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold up.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. What am I saying?
He's about to say Devastator.
No, that was not the next words out of my mouth.
I looked at him the other day, actually. I was going through some of these. He's still not good.
No.
If you give Battle Fury out, he has improved targeting hindering.
Okay.
And if you're giving out Battle Fury to opposing characters, they can use Outwit, Perplex, or Support. That means that Widow can't be carried in too close.
Yeah.
So she has to be close. She can walk in, but that
usually
means
they're usually more than 6 squares away.
Yeah, but
at least turn 1.
She would then have to get in closer, and then Barbie Toes has his free phasing teleport, and then she can make him have a mobile. And Barbie Toes can make him have a mobile.
Anybody looking at Green Puff Dragon?
No.
What?
No, I am not looking at Green Puff Dragon.
It's pretty cool. Hypersonic 11 for 5. Free Force Blast? No? Okay.
Didn't he have and then his end dial is the Steel Energy up. Now the problem is that he's a giant, so Barbie Toes can't be equipped.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the drag with him. Friendly can use the Batman enemy. Batman enemies share the attack value.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know, man.
No.
Barbie Toes might work, man. He can carry Wendigos.
That is true. Or no. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because he's a flying giant. Flying giants could carry
Wendigos, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True. Everything that you've said so far is true.
So is that really more of a tent pole, or is that a one-man army? That's not really a one-man army.
Yeah, it's not really a one-man army. He asked specifically about one-man armies.
I don't know, like 300-point Dark Phoenix.
Red Skull.
He's on 300 points.
Well, it's
that's
not
true.
300 points.
Or close to it.
300-point Doom. There's not a ton of those.
Yeah.
That Doom's pretty good. His stop click is surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Regent might be okay now. Regent's pretty okay.
Oh yeah, Regent. I forgot about him.
I like Regent. He can shoot through walls, guys. He can shoot go on what's the King's Tomb, right? Or no, the other one.
Ancient Hold.
Go to Ancient Hold, and he has 8 range. Just blast them through the map like they're hiding in a room. Too bad.
Oh, he's a scientist. Why don't you get like him and like play him at 100 points and get like some Ultra Human Knights and just like block yourself in and like. shoot through all the
I
walls.
thought about it. I mean, even at 240, I mean, you can get like a bunch of Lex Luthors and have like a plus 7.
Yeah.
I mean, because even Wesley Crusher's a
Scientist, yeah.
A scientist, yeah. So I mean, there's probably something there. And then specifically when Tyler's talking about shoot through blocking, it's the missile through the walls that doesn't doesn't break the blocking.
Yeah, it doesn't
And you
destroy
can shoot
it. Yeah.
through unlimited walls.
Yeah, unlimited walls. Yep, it is in the pack. So
And he's a giant too in a flyer, so he can carry around whatever.
Yeah.
Shoot over people.
Yeah, and you get a little Alex, like maybe like Wesley, Alex, and a couple of Lexes. Seems pretty good.
He's one that steals powers too, right?
Yeah.
I always love people like that. I remember I liked what was his name? The super rare Mazas.
Yeah,
From
Mazaz.
Frenzy War. He was so cool. I love that piece. Yeah, there's some out there. Maybe play Zeus, the 280, the con exclusive. He's still legal, right?
Yeah. No. Yes.
No? Yeah, 2017.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's got printed 20 defense.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not upset about this
Region.
This region idea. And
I'm liking it.
There's definitely been worse ones. But he does have protected outwit, pulse wave, and side blast,
which is nice.
Yeah.
Just gotta pack those Lex Luthors on the team, right? Or Brainiacs, I guess. But Lex gives you the enhancement.
Yeah, and the roll the 10s. Man, there's just been a lot of meta talk to talk about tonight. I think the last thing that I want to touch on, because what time is it? It's 10:30. We want to talk about Fantastic Four, but I do want to talk about Astronomers and Lex Luthors, namely the Reality Gem. And I don't want to spend a lot of time on it because this is kind of one of those things that may not work in modern, but Chase Lex Luthor, getting 10s, being able to make you guarantee a 10 so that you can re-roll or re-attack with the Reality Gem and potentially get 5 to 6 attacks a turn.
For the rest of the game, he has when a friendly character attacks before the attack roll, you may remove a cake token.
Yes.
So the minimum result of the roll is a 10.
Right. So then in the Reality Gem, you can, or like the Mind Gem, you could do Mind Control or whatever. But the Reality Gem is the one that does damage. So like if you just start with a character that can do it, like the Astronomer, right? So he goes out, he attacks, you play with some dice manipulation, you get a 10. So you get a 10. You get to attack again, you get a 10. Right, I'm assuming that you get some favorable, like if you play it with like question the Qs, right? Like Astronomer, Q, question, couple Lex Luthors. So if you can get enough to where you can get 4 cake tokens in one turn, with 2 Lexes, then you can guarantee that you could remove 8 cake tokens between 2 Lex Luthors and attack 8 more times.
Is that okay? I might burst your bubble. I might not. Let's see.
So he can remove if he can keep adding them as long as he hasn't removed them. Whenever he starts removing them, then he can't add anymore.
Yeah, I got it. So the minimum result of the attack roll is a 10, is what he says. In reality, I just want to read about the wording.
Now there is some sort of, there is like super senses that can ruin your combo. Of course, shape change can. It's not foolproof, but.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty neat combo.
Definitely a Golden Age combo. The Penguin is the thing.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely works well with Fast Horse's Penguin, right? To try to get those 10s going. But so it's just something to think about for Modern, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can get a ton of it rolls out, right, and then try to get it going.
Yeah, because they can all do free.
Yeah. So even Fast versus Penguin's definitely a problem in Golden. So I just want to say on that one, I don't have a formal team idea or like a video to do on that one just yet. But I really like that idea of Lexus plus the Reality Gem, super powerful combination. All right, so let's round out with some of our last questions and our previews that we got. So there's lots of cool stuff from on HC Realms on the preview thread that have been compiled. As always, we will do a complete set review when it's all released. So no pre-releases with this one. We would like to thank WizKids for our 3 previews that we got. First off, we got a Common Prime Black Leopard. All of this up's on our Facebook page, facebook.com/clickstoff. Black Leopard.
Slayer of Galactus.
Yeah. Welcome to all of your pieces having 10-17-3.
Man, the more I look at this guy, the more I like him. Like he's really good.
Like I like him a lot.
Yeah.
There's a couple things. He needs Nightbringer. I think he could just get shot from range, but he does have Avengers. Richard Leo would say he has Wakanda, therefore that makes him really good.
Awesome. Ruler's still a good keyword.
Yeah, Ruler is
fantastic.
We got a lot of Fantastic Four stuff coming up, right? We did get a question about do we think that the Fantastic Four trait may be good? Jeremy Christie asked that question. So you may replace 4 friendly characters with the same number of characters from your sideline on their starting clicks. Fantastic Four keyword and different names. The total points of the replacement characters can't exceed the total points of the replaced characters. So I'd say yes, but you have to be able to have a team. That team of Form the Fantastic Four, which you start with, has to be good enough on its own.
Right. Which is possible. There's really good pieces with Fantastic Four in this set.
Yes, absolutely.
So if I'm reading the trait right, you have to take 4 figures off and put 4 figures on, right? You can't do 1 and 1.
No, it's up to 4.
Oh, is it? Okay, that makes it a lot better.
But it's 1-to-1. Like if you replace one, if you take off 1, you get to replace 1. You can't, take off 2 and replace it with 1.
Sure. But yeah, that makes it a lot better just because if I have to take 4 figures off, I have to have 8 good figures. When this, you only need 5.
Yes, that is correct.
I think it ultimately is going to depend. I feel like it's going to be better if we know for sure we're going to get consistent Fantastic Four sets or see them consistently.
Yeah, it's too early to say. I think there is definitely the makings of a good Fantastic Four team already, but it's not enough. As it is, probably needs more, or it needs at least built. But if I'm playing Franklin Richards, who is nothing but picking powers, and I see a Black Widow across the map, I'm probably going to switch him out for something.
Right.
And that's good enough. If Franklin Richards makes a Fantastic Four team, that trait's really good. Probably just buy that.
I almost equate this whole mechanic similar to the JLU team-up cards. There's probably some cool combos, but they would be better if we had more figures. And since we don't know all the figures yet, there's still some good combos, but down the road, if we get a lot more Fantastic Four, not just in this set, but future sets, if in the Spider-Man set we were starting to get more keywords of Fantastic Four in there, then this could potentially be great. But at the present time, we have such a limited sample size of who can actually use it. It's just potential's there, but
Yeah,
I think
fair
this
enough.
is better than the team-up cards. It's way less limiting.
Right.
yeah, I just mean from like team up cards would be great if we had more DC sets. Like if we had more Superman, Green Arrows, like things that could maybe you don't play the JLU set only. You could play the team up card for Batman and play like a different set Green Arrow. But once rotation hits, we just have the Batman set and Rebirth. So it's like,
Yeah, I'm with you. More to come on that one, Jeremy. So Claw. Oh, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Just real quick. I also like Black Leopard on like Avengers, Alpha Strike teams. Right, just carry him up, and everybody's a 17 defense. That's a lot easier. And he's got Perplex. Like, I think that could be a thing for sure. And his leadership for Avengers. I think that just throwing that out there.
Oh yeah, I mean he could totally, take out a Captain Marvel and add Black Leopard and Medusa and a Voyager. I mean, because there is the Voyager, Voyager, Black Leopard, Chase Widow, Medusa team that could do really well.
Yeah, I think it's and any attack backs on you, it's going to be a lot less potent.
Yeah, exactly. So the Widow's Recruit comes out and everything's a 17 defense. So, bleh. Oh, and don't forget his leadership. So, I mean, Black Leopard's definitely has the potential.
He's going to be good.
Yeah.
just keep in mind you need line of fire. It's just people, there's little nuances and traits. People see the first part and they're like, oh, this is going to be amazing. You still need line of fire. So,
Yeah, it's not as good as Nighthawk.
right.
And he does not bust stuff either. So.
Right.
So like if Chase Widow's just parked in a bush, she's still 18 combat reflexes, boys.
Yep.
But now if you're a friendly Chase Widow goes up and deletes her dial, then she's a 17.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Yeah. So Claw, he's an uncommon, right? Not super powerful. But I do like his blow-up trait, deal 2 penetrating damage, super useful, right? And then what is neat is that his defense power can be used across the map with the barrier, and then that would combo with like the Zero Ring.
Right. It's pretty cool.
So the problem is that it only works with Frightful 4. And the Frightful 4 haven't been like overwhelming yet so far.
No, there'll probably be a fun casual theme, but I haven't seen anything that's going to be meta yet, unless I'm missing something.
Yeah, I don't think so either. So, I do want to spend a little bit of time here on Franklin Von Doom. Fellas, for 70 points, should the numbers 13 and 5 ever appear?
Or 20.
So 13 and 5 should only appear in like movement and defense. Never attack and damage.
Yeah.
20 can probably go into movement, but it should have 0 attack and 0 damage.
Yeah.
For some crazy in-dial flash. Franklin is a crazy, crazy kid. Battle World Other, Fantastic Four, Latveria, Cosmic. And so what I like is that Fantastic Four trait, you don't have to have it on all of them. If there's a guy that's like your flex piece, like the other kid.
Valeria.
Yeah, the Pick-a-Power kid.
No, Frank Lawrence.
Yeah. If he's got that trait, then yeah, he can zoom in and out, right? Good matchup, bad matchup, where Franklin's going to be good in almost every matchup. So terrain generator, hindering, watering, or blocking. I kind of wished he generated obscuring. That would have been neat. That'd have been a first.
Yeah.
But he can generate it adjacent. or you can remove all terrain markers and accept debris from a square within range and line of fire. First time I read it, I thought he could remove them all from his range and line of fire.
I did too.
But it's just from a square within range and line of fire, which is still plenty of useful. 11 attack, double bolt, 9 range, in cap, TK, prob, and outwit, but only when he occupies a terrain marker. So you can give him Nightbringer Ring. And then he's got 2 stop clicks at the end. Now, Black Widow, of course, can poison him off of these 2 stop clicks with the recruits. But hopefully, if you can get a turn, you can delete Widow down off of her trade crafts pretty quickly.
So he also has Master or Minions of Doom. So if he gets a kill on his stop click, he heals up.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why. Yeah, and so his stop click has Colossal. So it's a great combination to heal up and down. I almost think like equipping this guy makes sense, so that when he's little, you can like maybe like spin ring him or a Nightbringer Ring. So he has the prob and the outwit, then he gets hit. Then he can Colossal Push, then he can heal, then he can do whatever he needs to do, and then heal up off the stop click. Whatever combination of that works. I get that you won't be able to Colossal Push and then heal off the stop click. But just whatever combination of pacing that you need to do to utilize Minions of Doom and Colossal to heal back up and just not die.
Yeah, I think I'm of the opinion that it's almost necessary to give this guy Nightbringer, just because the way his trait is set up is super annoying and unintuitive. So like he can make his terrain markers in adjacent squares, but he has to occupy a terrain marker to use for outwit and probability control. And he doesn't have sidestep, so he would have to free make it and then power move into it, or be carried. Obviously, there are ways around it, but it seems clunky to me.
But it's got to be somebody that's bigger than him because he does have flight.
Right, yeah. So
Barbatos can free face carry him onto the marker.
True.
Yeah.
So I'm super glad we got to preview this piece. I just can't wait for what God Doom can do. Any wild speculation we were asked from Spencer White, any wild speculation on what God Doom might do?
I can't even imagine.
Power action, one character named Thanos on the opposing team is KO'd.
Okay, this is actually one of the stories I've read. I want him to have a power, maybe it's a stop click, but something late dial where it's when him and Reed are fighting, and he like admits that he's not as good as Reed. They're fighting, and Reed says, "You're just ashamed because you knew I would do a better job or something." And then he said, Doom's like, "Yes, that's true," or whatever. I thought that was cool. So maybe something like that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But no, I think that he should have a way to remove tokens from himself. I think every Doom should have that. Some sort of self perplex in some stat buffing in some sort of way. Doom is just a very selfish character to me. It doesn't work with anybody else, so that's what he should play like, in my opinion.
I hope he has good keywords. That's gonna really stink if he doesn't. Like if they give him Latvernian and Battle World Other, and that's it.
He should have Cosmic probably too.
Yeah, he should, but I'm just saying
He should have Cosmic. He should have Ruler. He
Scientist, Ruler.
He should have Mystical. Those are the things he should have. He should have amazing keywords. But yeah, I agree. They better do some of that justice.
I think I will say this real quick. I do think he is going to have a pretty strong 100-point dial.
Why?
Because Sue, Valeria, and Franklin equal 200 points.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Like Valerie and Franklin equal 100, perfect.
Sue's
She's
200.
30, he's 70, Sue's 100. So it just makes sense you could play all four for Battle World Other or Latvernia or whatever. Or Latveria. Sorry, Latveria. I keep saying Narnia. Like Narnia. You got me on. We were talking Chronicles of Narnia earlier. I keep saying Latvernia.
Yeah, Galactus has a 100-point dial, right?
Yeah.
Galactus,
Yeah.
So yeah, that could be. So real quick, the common or uncommon Doom has Cabal, Averia, Armor, Mystical, Politician, Ruler, and Scientist. So if he had all of that and Cosmic thrown on there, that'd be fine.
I mean, I assume he's gonna have some Battle World-esque
Yeah.
thing. King of Battle World or God of Battle World, leadership
Right.
perplex. Maybe his perplex is +2 all the time.
No, I'm hoping what it's not is that it's only -2 to Battle World keywords.
You just want it to be +2 or -2.
I don't want it to be that. I mean, of course, Daniel would prefer that it was +2 to everybody 4 times over.
Well, I definitely think that's what it's going to be. He's definitely going to have a Battle World trait.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool if he just had the keyword Battle World and he was the only person that had it. And so he would work with anybody else with any Battle World trait. That would be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with Sue. Like, they changed up that power because she's the queen. Like, it's not same Battle World or different. It's just purely you got a Battle World keyword. Yeah, just period.
Yeah, but only people that can help Battle World Other can perplex her up. That's why I wanted his to just be Battle World. But it probably won't be if they give him her Battle World Other.
Right.
But he's got to be super powerful considering because my assumption is that they want you to play those 3 with him. I assume. So they're very support heavy, like all support heavy. So it just makes me think he's just going to be crazy good with multiple stop clicks.
Cosmic multi-attack.
Oh my god.
15 opening attack with 6 damage.
So the problem is he should, obviously he should be 1,000 points or something, but it's super or like a 200, 400, 600 point dial. It's just so limiting on a single base character because you only have 11 clicks to work with. You can't make something that expensive. The only way they did it.
Here's another quick thought there. I hope that he's not a 2x2 character, so he's not easy to pick for in boosters.
You mean peanut base?
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, a 1x2. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think pretty much any single base character can be as 400 to make it make sense. So I wouldn't be maybe like 100, 250, and 400 or something like that.
Yeah, and for 400 to make sense, he would have to have multiple stop clicks.
Yeah, like 5.
Yeah.
5.
Well, Uni had 3, so I mean, that was
fair
enough.
enough.
I mean, he just has to be amazing, right? That's ultimately like the hype is so high.
It's the hot.
Yeah, I think he's got to have a 300 point dial, surely. It's like even if it's
I would be
lower.
disappointed if it was only 300.
No, I mean just like as one of the options. Like I think he has to have a 300 point as one of the options.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Sure.
Yeah.
Is there a character that you can think of that was more hyped than this one?
Ooh.
Not really.
No. Negative.
It's just because it's been withheld for so long.
Yeah, because there wasn't really any X-Men one when they came back that people were like, oh yeah, I can't wait for Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah,
there you go.
Maybe Apocalypse.
Yeah, there you go.
If they came out with an Apocalypse, maybe. I don't think it would top this.
I think we get Apocalypse in the X-Men set in the fall.
I think any of the big figures. Yeah, I mean, Apocalypse.
Years and X-Men sets without Apocalypse. Why do you think it's this one?
Because he was in that story.
There was 2 separate chase sets of Age of Apocalypse characters and 3 con exclusive seasons, and we didn't get an Apocalypse.
But that's but that was Fox and Marvel and that craziness going on at the time.
Yeah,
that's over.
That's over now.
I don't know. I think my theory on this is that Age of Apocalypse specifically is weird because the movie's named Age of Apocalypse. That's my theory. I have nothing to back that up.
So what you're telling me is that your figure you made's not Apocalypse.
You can't. Wait, hold on.
It's not Apocalypse.
So I want to be clear. The past few minutes have been entirely all speculation. Additionally, Jason just broke a year and a half of not asking Tylor, even in jest, what his pieces was. And I would like to clarify that we have absolutely no idea what Tylor has made. And this is the first time that Jason has ever asked him, albeit in jest, what his piece was in any circumstance.
I will say this, though. If God Doom is riding a tiny Namor on a peanut base, then we know that Tylor planned that.
Yeah. Dude, I will say, I asked them to make Doom, and they told me no, okay? 2 years ago, they're like, no, can't make him. Well, okay, I guess it's not
I'm pretty sure every champion ever has said, we want a Doom, please.
Was it Scott who, the stipulation in the game where it has to be a character from a comic book, and he asked for, like Obama, Hitler, zombie Hitler.
So I would hold on. I'll clarify the story there. So second of all, I'm okay with Tylor saying that because every other champion has said that for the past 6 years. It's pretty well known. Second of all, Scott was not a world champion. He just got to pick. He's national champion. He was the last one to do it. So his stipulation was you just get to pick a character. Right. And my understanding was he picked Obama, Hitler, whatever, and Zombie Stiltman.
Oh, that's so funny, dude.
Because he wanted another Zombie Stiltman, because I guess Stiltman was his masterpiece back in the olden days.
Then he got Clock King, right? That was the Clock King year?
Yeah.
Yes. Right. And we know why he picked Clock King, because of the obvious corollary to take Clock and drop the L. You'll get the idea.
Is that why?
And I think Clock King looks like him too. So,
somebody could cosplay as. He just wanted somebody to cosplay as.
Right. So if any of these things are wrong, I'm sure Scott, I know you listen, you'll correct me, but that's just the Clock King naming thing was just sort of my assumption from you. And then I'm fairly more positive on the it's just somebody that you could cosplay as.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Tylor really wanted to cosplay as Doom riding a tiny Namor, so that theory does hold up with Scott. So.
Oh gosh!
All Doom riding the tiny Namor swinging on a web.
Yeah. Gosh. All right, I want to end this here before we get too far, just because we have maintained 100% up and up, and we will continue to until Tylor releases Out of the Shadows Batman and the 2023 Batman set.
You mean Out of the Shower Batman?
Yeah, Out of the Shower Batman. All right, I'm in the speculation part of the show, guys.
Welcome to Clickstuff After Dark.
Yeah.
Out of the Shower Batman.
You know what?
Don't tell me you don't know the episode, Tylor.
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
You know what? And I would also say that if I thought that a Clickstuff only fans would bring us in money, I may possibly open one up for myself.
Send in your submissions, people. Send in your requests.
Do not send in your requests.
We already have some pictures that we can we can add on there.
Yeah, we do. We have at least one.
Okay. All right. No, we're done.
We're done. All right. Let's end it with a more wholesome question. Luis Reyes asks, when is Sam playing again? Sam has been more stubborn than Jason as far as online play, but she's starting back up this week. She has fully participated in all of our team discussions and team building the past few months. I just had not gotten her on to playing Roll20 as a competitive, I wouldn't say competitive, as a something to do during COVID platform. So
she's excited about the team that she wants to play. So
yeah.
She's still in, I don't know, ingrained in HeroClix. That's not the right word I want.
She's still participating, just not quite as publicly as she was in the past.
Yeah, I'm surprised she's going with Chase Black Widow, but she just loves the piece. So
yeah.
Yeah, I thought 3 of them was excessive, but
just Sam's ferocity and fire for the game has not been quenched any. It's just not as public as it was before.
So. We haven't done the podcast with me and her in a while because of all the stuff going down. So you don't hear her as much as you probably would have. Yeah.
And then Robert Wesley Valentine, we got your question on Black Widow or Black Leopard. I don't think it fills me with dread as much as Chase Widow does, but I can see where you're coming in. Avengers is getting a bunch of good stuff lately. So an interesting question for us to end the show. We got two more questions as we round out. We'll go with Scott's question. Scott Diagnostio, thank you for your question. What Fantastic Four power would you want? Oh, I finally get that. It's not a clicks question. It's a what would I want personally question.
There's an obvious answer.
The Thing.
Mr. Fantastic's brain.
Is that his power?
I don't know.
I don't think that's his power. I think he's just smart. I know Ultimate's version could stretch his synapses or something, but I don't think you can count that as his power.
This could take a totally bad turn. Oh.
So are we all going?
We're not.
Are we all going with Franklin? Is that not the obvious answer?
Franklin doesn't count. He's not a Fantastic Four.
I mean,
it's Invisible Woman is the one with the best powers.
Yes, very true.
No, but he said power, so you'd only get one of them, right? So you would get her. You wouldn't get her TK.
No, I'd have to go with the force fields.
Yeah, force field.
I'll go with the reality making of Franklin.
You can't pick Franklin.
Last I checked, Franklin Von Doom has a Fantastic Four keyword. So last I checked.
Yeah, I'll go with the 9 range, 13 attack, 5 damage side blast power.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Wait a minute. So you guys would go with the force field, but you wouldn't go with the invisibility?
No, I don't think you would ever that would never actually be helpful to me. I
guess if you don't have ambitions to become a master thief.
We've all seen Hollow Man. We don't want that to play out for us. Yeah, with Kevin Bacon.
We'll see if I can make force fields. I'm impervious to COVID, so yeah.
Yeah. It's funny in my reality, COVID doesn't exist if I'm Franklin. So.
Good point.
You'd be a better thief with the force fields because you could just pick up the money from you don't even have to go in the store.
Okay, well that's true.
Telekinesis, and telekinesis is the best power.
But does her invisibility include her phasing?
Probably. But I don't care because I can just she can shoot them as projectiles, right? So she can just blow a hole in the wall.
Franklin's also immortal. Let's throw that out
there. God.
Well, so I guess can her her force field uses her brain power, right?
I'm assuming.
I don't know.
I mean, do you have enough mental fortitude to stop bullets? With your
I don't.
brain power?
I've never been shot out in my life, Daniel.
But
I have enough.
if you're becoming a master thief,
I think we have different ambitions.
because I feel like what's the use of these powers if you're not going to use them to become like a Lex Luthor or a Black Adam?
There are heroes in comics, you know. It's
But
not all villains.
There is no heroes without villains, Tyler.
I'm pretty sure that Black Adam and Lex Luthor are heroes in their own mind.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, it's just better.
I mean, if I wanted to steal a bunch of money, I could just warp reality to have a bunch of money for me to steal. Just saying. The fact that you're leaving out one of the most powerful mutants ever created is blowing my mind.
Is he a mutant?
He's not one of the 4, and yes, he's a mutant.
Yes, he is a mutant. He is considered he didn't say one of the 4, did he? Or did he say
He said one of the Fantastic 4.
Yeah, he's part of the Fantastic
No,
Four.
he's not.
I'm just gonna She-Hulk's power or Spider-Man.
You could
Torch
take
Thing, Fantastic, and Invisible Woman. That's the 4.
So, like, I mean, are we just going to leave Johnny Storm completely out?
Yes.
Why?
His
like,
power is so inconvenient. It's like you have to catch on fire to do anything.
Yeah, that's kind of lame.
Like, flying is cool, right? Obviously. But Sue can kind of fly, you know? So, like...
Yeah.
I mean, he was way cooler when he got the super soldier serum and became Captain America. So
didn't know that happened. But I did watch the first...
Yeah, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, get out of here, Alex.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe, I did watch the first Fantastic Four, and if he gets too hot, the entire Earth's atmosphere is going to catch on fire. That's inconvenient.
So
yeah.
All right. So if it's outside of the 4, so we're saying Sue, and I pretty much agree with Sue. I don't want to think about how like what happens when the Thing gets an itch, like his armpit itches or something. Like that's got to be terrible.
Powers have a lot of weird questions that I don't want answers to.
Right. But if I can't choose Mr. Fantastic's brain power, then it's just got to be Sue. Now, if we were to go down the extended universe, obviously Franklin. But if we just go to Fantastic Four members, there's Crystal, Medusa, Luke Cage, Nova, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, Ant-Man,
Wolverine, Spider-Man, Hulk,
Namorita, Black Panther and Storm, Franklin and Valeria Richards, Flux, Doctor Doom. Obviously, I'm just picking Doctor Doom. Yes, Doctor Doom is a member of the Fantastic Four. According to this website, I'm picking Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom's pretty freaking cool.
Did that happen in Iron Point? Like,
No. Miss Thing, the Future Foundation, that's where your Spider-Man and all that stuff comes in, I would say.
Well, no, they're part of the new Fantastic Four, but okay. Yeah.
I would be the Amazing Bagman. That's what I'd be.
Bombastic Bagman.
I'll have to say, we better get Bagman in this set. How upset would people would be if we didn't get Bagman?
Oh gosh, I'm looking at the official Wikipedia now. I'm not on some other website. There's Flux, Spider-Man, Miss Thing, Close Associates, Herbie.
Oh, he's a robot.
Yeah,
and a car.
Okay.
So if you go with Close Associates, you can do with a Uatu the Watcher.
I don't know how powerful he is. I think Franklin beats him for sure.
Oh, the new Fantastic Four. You can become Danny Ketch Ghost Rider.
Yep. That's what everyone wants to be. Ghost Rider.
Okay, I got a real question for you. Who do you think would win? Ghost Rider or Danny Phantom?
I don't know who Danny Phantom is.
What? Never mind.
It's a Nickelodeon cartoon character, right?
No idea.
Yeah. Cool. Danny Phantom's so cool.
So has Danny Phantom done anything in his past that would come back to haunt him?
No, he's a hero. He's done stuff in his future that would come back to haunt him. Does that count?
Does he know about that in his current state?
I think Ghost Rider would win because he'd actually kill somebody. I don't think Danny would kill anybody.
No, but Danny's villains kill people, and he still beats them.
So
does Batman.
So I think Ghost Rider's most powerful thing comes down to if he can get somebody locked into the vengeance stare or whatever it's called.
Penance stare.
Penance stare, yes, whatever it's called. The penance stare. Then he just beats them, right? That's why the Ghost Rider couldn't beat the Punisher, because the Punisher feels no remorse for what he's done. And that's why the Punisher is an ultimate badass.
I don't believe that.
So,
What?
I don't know. Yeah, so if Danny Phantom has anything that he's regrets, like, oh my gosh, I had that dream about not wearing pants in the 6th grade. Oh no, and that breaks him apart mentally, then the penance stare will get him.
No. Danny Phantom's got it.
Gosh, I have no idea.
Ghost Rider also stole the Declaration of Independence. You guys don't realize National Treasure and Ghost Rider were actually in the same universe. So
that makes sense.
I heard that we're getting a new National Treasure, guys.
It crosses over in with Ghost Rider.
That'd be so funny.
Gosh.
That's when he makes the deal. So.
Oh my gosh, I just think that Alex's answer of Franklin's just the correct one.
Yeah.
It's the easy one, which is unfortunate, but I mean,
Tyler, the close associates, you could become Namor. You could have the power. You could have the powers of Namor.
Can Namor fly?
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
He has ankle wings, don't you know?
He does have ankle wings, but I thought that those were for hydrodynamics.
He does have flight. Yes, he can.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I just think, I don't know. Invisible Woman, if you want to become a master thief, Mr. Fantastic's brain, otherwise.
Sorry.
Being
invisible would make you that good of a thief.
Maybe like a common thief.
If you could just have like Mr. Fantastic's brain, you can just make whatever you want to make money.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just don't think I would take issue with you calling that a power.
Like petty thief. You can steal wallets and stuff out of purses, but like breaking into a bank.
Right, yeah. Like there's still locks and cameras and stuff.
I don't know.
But the cameras can't see you.
I mean, if you phase in your...
you pick up money and figure it out.
So there's going to be a string of thieves, a string of thefts across the country. Money floats out of the bank vault.
Did you ever see the movie Jumper?
Yeah.
It'd be very similar to that.
That's because Nick Fury was on the case.
True, but there's got to be something similar to Nick Fury in real life, right? Something.
You know, I really like this ongoing theory that we're connecting every movie to every other movie. I'm loving this.
Right. And if the best that they have is the guy from Transformers, that was Section 62 or whatever?
Uh-huh.
Section 7.
Section 7, there we go. Yeah, if that's the best that they have, then I think we're okay with our floating money Ponzi scheme here.
Okay.
So the last thing, Doc Merto asked about PayPal's new policies for buyer protection and how that'll affect the online community.
Yeah, what this is.
Yeah, I haven't really looked into detail of this either. I read a little bit about it. Go ahead, Jason.
I think it was like if you had bought something and then were going to resell it, they said it wouldn't be covered by PayPal's protection plan.
Mm-hmm.
Like eBay is actually divorcing itself from PayPal and going with another payment system. They're phasing it out over the next, I think, 3 years. But I think the whole PayPal thing takes effect at the end of July. I was reading about it in another group that I'm in, and the guy did a chat online with PayPal, and then posted the whole chat. And I don't know, they're saying that if it was a person-to-person transaction and it was paid through goods and services, it would still be covered. But then if somebody comes up with a dispute, then they have a team that goes in and looks at all the whatever data about that transaction and decides if it's covered or not. So you may not totally be covered with PayPal goods and services anymore. Was what it boils down to.
This other one that I saw, it says, I don't know if this is a big change. It says if you are a seller and lose a claim under the PayPal's buyer protection program, and the buyer's claim was that the item received was significantly not as described, you may not receive the item back, or you may be required to accept the item back and pay the return shipping costs.
I don't know if that matters that much.
Would have mattered for Tylor, for that one thing you had to deal with forever ago that you had to return or something.
Oh my god, I don't want to talk about that. That was so dumb. Yeah, I don't know. I've never used the PayPal like claim thing before. I always just use insurance through the postal service if anything happens.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think people are more worried about that somebody's going to scam you, and like they're going to say, well, that they didn't get it, it was broken or whatever. And PayPal's really not going to cover that anymore. And then
it's possible. I generally have faith in corporations when it comes to them making money, and I think that it would affect their bottom dollar if it became an issue a lot. So I'm not super worried about it.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead,
Alex.
I was gonna say, like, how, so the items intended for resale. I mean, when you guys do stuff on PayPal, how often do you actually put what you're trading or buying in the PayPal info?
Yeah, I always try to.
Rarely.
I've never done that in my life.
Yeah, I always try to. So here's my thought: is that we have the HeroClix trade feedback group on Facebook, specifically for Facebook, right? Like, so I'm going to assume that whatever eBay goes to, whatever it is, eBay has their own buyer protection, so I don't feel any worse about buying or selling through eBay because they've always had a good buyer protection program. I haven't had a good seller protection program, but a good buyer protection program. So for Facebook stuff, we have the HeroClix trade feedback group. There's a lot of good sellers, a lot of good buyers on Facebook. There's a lot of good people that know how to pack their clicks correctly. I think we're going to be okay on Facebook as long as we band together as a community and make smart decisions and help new sellers and new buyers make the right decisions to continue what we've built up probably the past 5 or 6 years or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay. There's some gray area, I think, but I haven't read all of it, but I think it'll be okay. Mm-hmm. Just use common sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Let's wrap it up, folks. Final thoughts. Alex.
Hopefully we'll see the rest of Galactus' dial soon so we can start talking about Galactus, because that's going to be crazy. So,
Galactus, let's go. Tylor.
I can't wait to show you guys God Doom on a whale.
Which you're absolutely kidding about.
To be fair,
we'll see.
I said God Doom on Namor, I'm pretty sure.
You did. I know you did.
So
Namor.
I would really prefer if you were to just say you were absolutely kidding, as long as you're absolutely kidding.
I am absolutely kidding.
Okay.
I can't wink on this thing, so it makes it all.
Gosh, Tylor. You're pushing my buttons. I know that. I think we have applied enough disclaimers that we are actually joking and actually have no idea what piece you have made, and you have violated none of your non-disclosure agreements with us in public or in private.
I am legally obligated to say yes.
Jason.
So if my invisible thief puts the money inside his invisible pants pockets, does the money disappear?
I don't know.
Because then
it would just disappear. It wouldn't be floating out the door, right? Like,
well, it would float off the shelf.
Yeah, and then it would just poof, it's gone.
I mean, Hollow Man, he had to wear a mask, right? And you could still see the mask.
Yeah, but the point is to not wear a mask.
Oh, Sue can turn herself back and forth. Okay, it's not like Hollow Man where he permanently goes invisible.
Well, does she turn other things invisible?
Yeah, she can, right?
Yeah, I think she can. Yeah.
Okay, then there's your answer.
There you go.
Franklin's the better choice.
That's the answer.
Like, I don't know. Like, the Human Torch can just like turn his arm into flame, right?
Yeah, but why would you want that?
For campouts.
Right.
Yeah.
I had
if you're
gonna make s'mores, that's probably gonna be awesome.
All right, so this is my final thought is if I don't want the temptation to become a supervillain, I'm choosing the Human Torch because all of the other things lead down possibly bad paths, and there's just nothing. It's just unavoidable temptation.
I feel like Human Torch makes the best villain. You're crazy.
Franklin could just make s'mores appear out of nowhere, so.
God damn it.
No, I mean, you're right. The Human Torch is the worst one because he can't burn down the thing, and Sue just makes him force fields him in. Yeah, suffocates him. Good GG. And Mr. Fantastic, apparently we can't choose his brain, so he just stretches out of the way.
Stretches out of the way.
Right. I feel like that's such a terrible version of the Fantastic Four, or the Mr. Fantastic, if you could only choose his stretchiness.
That's his only power.
He was smart before they got powers, so I wouldn't classify that. Yeah.
Yes, I was
the Ultimates. You can stretch his synapses.
Right. You know what? We have something to talk about next time. We didn't get to talk about Pogs. Hopefully, we get to find out who makes the Pogs in the starter in the Dyson token pack.
How many points are they?
Right. Yes. So, it's a long episode. We're going to wrap it up. Buy, sell, trade. Potentially, is it buy, sell, hold, Alex?
Yeah, buy, sell, hold.
Get your Jason Weingards now as opposed to later. Because if Franklin Galactus guy is under 150 points and is a standard character, GG, boys.
Well, we know it's from Dr. Fantastic, right?
Right.
We just don't know how many points he is.
Right.
Yeah, or if he's a standard character.
Yeah, that too.
True.
So, all right. Thanks for listening to Click Soft today, and y'all have a great night.
See you.
Later.
See you.